In this video, I'm going to show you all kinds of shortcuts so that you can learn how to upload an email list to your back end of your Facebook page, how you can make lookalike audiences, how you can set up all types of different ads, how to do your targeting, how to walk through the process of each ad creation, and then some additional things along the way. So this video is going to serve as a shortcut video to the multiple lessons that are in the course that discuss the same thing. So I'm going to try and go fast. Usually I don't go fast. I like to be methodical and I like to show you everything, but I'm going to go a little quicker than all the lessons that you'll find in the course. So let's get started. First of all, here I am on my personal page. Okay, whether you're on your personal Facebook page or your business page, what you want to do is go up to the top left, click on the F that's up here, and then that is going to open up some options on the left-hand side. At this point, if you don't see Ads Manager here, you could click on your business page, you could click on See More. To click on your business page, you would click Pages. Once you click Pages, you would click your business page. There's always more than one way to get somewhere on Facebook, okay? And so again, now I would look for Ads Manager. You do not want Ads Center, you want Ads Manager, okay? And so I did see that other option, but I just wanted to show you the variety of ways that can get you there. Okay, so there's Ads Manager there. I would click on that to get into Ads Manager. Now, there's another way to get an Ads Manager, and that way is to use this link, okay? And so the link is business.facebook.com/adsmanager/manage. Okay, and if you put that into your browser, that will bring you right inside of Ads Manager. So let me go in there right now, and you will see that my computer wants to scream at me for having too many tabs open. So let me just X out of this. And you notice up top here, I'm actually in my campaigns now, but you'll notice it's business.facebook.com/adsmanager/manage. And then I'm in the campaign tab. Okay, so here we are inside of Ads Manager looking at campaigns. If you don't have any campaigns set up, you won't see a bunch here, but if you have a couple of campaigns set up, you'll see those listed here. Now, all the business tools for working in the back end of your ad account are over here on the left, okay? They're underneath the house, and they're these 9 dots. So you want to click on these 9 dots. And the first thing we're going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to upload an email list. Okay, so the way you manage your lists is you come into audiences. Okay, audiences is where you want to be for managing custom audiences. And custom audiences can be created from a lot of things. I'm going to show you all of those next. And the first thing we're going to create a custom audience from is an email list. So let me find part of an email list first, and then I'll continue this video. Okay, this is a piece of an old email list that I have, so I'm just going to grab a couple of these names. So you want to go to any kind of spreadsheet program, export your email addresses from wherever they are, MailChimp or wherever. And once you get the spreadsheet for the email addresses, you only need the email addresses. So what you would do is click into that spreadsheet, and then you would select the email addresses that you want to copy. I'm going to copy that small list right there. And now I'm going to go back into Ads Manager. I'm going to click on Audiences. And then inside of audiences, you're going to have a variety of options. And one of those options is going to be a customer list. And that's going to be right in this drop-down menu. So we click on Custom Audience. Then we click on Customer List. On this screen, we are not going to do anything. Okay, we don't have to do anything on this screen. We're going to click Next. On this screen, we're going to choose, it's very important, you do not want a value for your customers, okay? So you're going to choose No. I'm not going to include a lifetime value. I'm going to click Next. Very next thing you choose is Copy and Paste. You paste your emails in here, okay, the ones you have on your clipboard. Boom, there they are. You title your audience. I'm going to call this a test list, and then you click next. On this page, it's going to tell you that it's mapping out all. You can put a lot of fields into this this back end here for a customer list. You can do name and phone number and all kinds of things, but you don't need any of that. All you need is the email address. What Facebook is telling you is that it's recognizing an email address, and all you do is click upload and create. Once you click that, you're going to click done. Okay, excellent. And there's our test list right here. And just so you know, every custom audience that you make, and I'm going to show you how to make several now, any custom audience can be used as a source audience to create a lookalike audience. So you would just simply select the audience like this. You would come up to these three dots here, click, and click create lookalike audience. And that's the same for any custom audience. So you use any custom audience as a source. Select your lookalike source. That's our test list. And then we're creating a custom audience. When I create custom audiences, I always like to use the 1% custom audience. Lookalike audience. So when I create lookalike audiences, I'm using 1%. That's the tightest match. That means these lookalikes are going to be as close as possible resembling your source audience. So that means the algorithm's looking at 1,200 data points on every individual in the source audience to determine who's going to be in the custom audience. All right. And then sometimes you're allowed to choose the country right in this window. It varies from ad account to ad account. In my ad account, that's not what I do anymore. I choose my country during the ad creation process. So if you have a field here that says it gives you a place to type for a country, you would just type in the United States or whichever country you're trying to make a lookalike audience in. But since I don't have that, let's see what we're going to do here, because it's not giving me the option to, okay, so now it is. I want to go back to 1. It wasn't giving me an option to click create, so I'm ready. That's it. So I'm making a lookalike audience from this list, 1%, and I'm going to click create. And that audience is going to show up. It's going to tell me that it's a lookalike, it's a 1%, and then it's going to tell me the source that the audience came from. And that's my test list. Okay, that's how you create a lookalike audience. Now, let me show you how to create some other custom audiences. So another custom audience I like to create is website traffic. Okay, so hang on one second. Even though I didn't need to go back into the tools. Let me just get that out of the way. All I needed to do was click the drop down here, create custom audience. Next thing would be website traffic. So I'm going to select website. Make sure your pixel is here. Okay, so you'll see your pixel. We'll talk about pixel in a minute. We want all website visitors. And typically I want to go back as far as I can go back, because I want this to be kind of a master website visitors. Okay, so back 180 days is the max Facebook lets you go back. Okay, and I'm going to call this now. We may have already made this for your account, and if not, you do want to make this, and you would not call yours test, you would call it master website visitors. Okay, and then you would click create audience. All right, so I already have these created for my account, so I'm actually not going to create that, and I'm going to show you the next one I would do. Next one I would do is I would click the drop down for website visitors, and I would choose something else. I would choose an event that takes place on your website that happens deeper than the homepage, and that is view content is a good one to do. So I would click on view content past 180 days, and I would name this audience master view content on website, and then I would click create audience. The next one I would do for website traffic is add to cart. Okay, I would click add to cart. I would name this audience master add to cart. Make sure you're 180 days every time. Okay, the next one I would do is purchase. So you select purchase, you name the audience master purchase, and on all of these you don't have to start with the word master. You could start with what the audience is. So it could be website traffic master, website view content master, purchase or add to cart master, purchase master. So just spot them easier. So you can decide how you want to arrange the words in the name. Okay, so purchases, okay, and then it would be purchase master. And then the next thing you do here, actually you stay with purchase, and then you actually select refine by aggregated value. We're looking for people who purchase more than once. If frequency is not here, click the drop down. You want it to be frequency is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so this is people that have made 2 or more purchases on your website. So the name of this audience would be 2 or more purchases on a website. And again, you would click create audience. So those are all the website audiences that I like to create. Now these audiences will update all the time with the most recent 180 days worth of data. Every lookalike audience that you create from these custom audiences that we just created will also update with fresh data throughout all eternity. Okay, these are always updating. The customs are updating, and the lookalikes that are made from them are updating. All right, so next I will show you how to make at least 2 additional custom audiences. And those additional custom audiences are going to be created from, let me close this window, from traffic on your, or I could say engagement on your Facebook page and your Instagram page. So let's click the drop down here. Let's click custom audience. Let's click, we'll start with Facebook page. And make sure you have the correct page if you have more than one page. Okay, so mine is Vermont Nature Creations. Everyone who's engaged with your page in the past 365 days. Okay, so this is a custom audience. There are lots of variables here. There's, you can hit this drop down. You can make custom audiences from any of these. If, for example, let's say you wanted to do a special ad to people who only engage with a very specific post. Maybe you had a post that went out that was highlighting a new line or a specific item or a specific event, and then you want to follow up and send an ad only to those people. You would create an audience, a custom audience based on any of these things below here. And so sometimes you can get very specific, okay? But in general, what I like to do, the power of these custom audiences is to get the data from all the people who are interested in you and then make lookalike audiences from that, right? So that's why I like to make a master. Okay, basically masters are what we're making here, masters of engagement. So this is engagement with your Facebook page past 365 days. You would name that audience. This is master Facebook page engagement or Facebook page engagement master. Okay, and then you would click create audience. Now, that is the only one I would make for the Facebook page unless you have something very specific going on. So I'm going to now show you Instagram. I think you probably can figure this one out by now. Instagram account, you click on Instagram. Okay, you make sure you have the correct Instagram page in this drop-down menu. Everyone who's engaged with your professional account in the past 365 days. Instagram master engagement, okay? Create audience. That is how you create the Most important, custom audiences to get your audience section filled out, and then also your ability to create lookalike audiences. You can take any one of these custom audiences. You cannot make a lookalike of a lookalike. Okay, so just so you know. But here's my master Facebook page engagement. I can select that. I can come up to these three dots and create a lookalike audience. It's telling me my source is the master Facebook page engagement. I want 1%. And since I can't enter the country, you may or may not be able to do that. And again, if you can't enter the country, the lookalike is created, and then the country is taken into account when you build out your ad. And then you click Create Audience. And that's it. Okay, it's that simple. And now let's go into Ads Manager and start building out some campaign styles. Okay, so you would go back over to these 9 dots underneath this house, click Open, click Ads Manager. Once we get inside Ads Manager, you're always brought in where you have 3 things going on here. Every campaign, okay, I always call them ads. Let's go set up a Facebook ad. Well, an ad is really a campaign. All right, so you have a campaign tab. If you notice, these are kind of hard to see, but this is one single tab, like a file folder tab. Then you have another tab here. This is the ad set, and this is the ad. Every campaign has 3 levels. It has the campaign level, the ad set level, the ad level. Okay, so when you say, I'm going to create a Facebook ad, it's really a Facebook campaign. It's a campaign that has an ad set with an ad in it. Okay, those are the components of a Facebook ad, if we want to say Facebook ad, and I'm using air quotes right now. Okay, when I come into my ad account, I like to set up a filter up here, and that filter is campaign delivery is active. Okay, and so I'm going to X out of that. I just want to show you what happens when you don't have that. So when you don't have that set up, you have all your campaigns, old campaigns. There's a lot of campaigns because I've been running campaigns for a long time. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to come in here, click into search or add a filter, and then look in this drop-down menu. Okay, there's all kinds of things in here to look for. Campaign delivery is active, right? This is something I use all the time, so I'm just going to click on that. You can also sort. You might be looking for campaign names that have the word Christmas in there. Or something that you did. Okay, so you can filter all your campaigns once you start having a lot of campaigns. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new campaign. So I'm going to start. I want to show you the different campaigns that I like to set up. And again, all of this information is in the course. Let me just pop into the course real quick just to show you that if you were to go into the course, there's 2 ways to find in-depth teaching on what I'm showing you right now. One is to go to Module 5 of the course and look at the titles of the lessons. Like, for example, Lesson 5, Part 4 is the conversion campaign. I'm going to be showing you that today. Okay, so all those campaigns are right here. Now, you can also jump into monthly coaching calls, and there is a monthly coaching call in the archives that is real handy as a shortcut coaching call, and that is the November 2020 coaching call. All right, this was my top 10 recommendations that you need to be doing for your business to make sure you're ready to rock and roll, and part of that is some ad creation. Okay, I also have some ad creation in June of 2020 and May of 2020. So poking around the coaching calls, it's a good place to find shortcuts to a specific strategy that I teach in depth in the course curriculum. Okay, let's go back into Ads Manager. All right, now let's set up a campaign. First campaign I want to show you, click on the green campaign, create button. And the first campaign I want to show you is a traffic campaign. Okay, so a traffic campaign is designed to send traffic to your website. I use a traffic campaign if I haven't installed the pixel yet, or if I happen to have a website where I can't install the pixel, like my daughters are both authors. They sell books on Amazon, and I can't install a pixel on their Amazon page, and so I always use traffic campaigns. Once you have a pixel on your website and you have a lot of pixel activity, I like to use conversion campaigns because those are all built using all of the data from the pixel activity. Really powerful campaigns. But for now, let's set up a traffic campaign. So click on traffic, come down to the bottom, click continue. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Okay, so we want to name our campaign. So what I like to do for the name of the campaign is I like to put the date right in the front. So the name of this campaign would be today's date. It would be January 23rd. Okay, and then the next thing I would do would be traffic. And then the next thing I would do is something that would alert me to what kind of campaign this is. So it's traffic, and maybe it's Christmas, or maybe it's something else that's special. So and then for me on this one, it's going to be test. Okay, just so I don't get confused and think this is a campaign I should run. Okay, the very next thing is we don't do anything here. We don't do anything here. Okay, all campaigns are always auctions. You just leave that alone. Okay. Obviously, it's telling us what the objective is. We don't want to look at more options. We're not going to do anything here. We don't want to do an A/B test. Okay. Now, I only set the campaign budget on the campaign level. All right. And notice up here, we're at the campaign level here. This is the ad set level. This is the ad level. We're at the campaign level. We're choosing what kind of campaign we want. We could choose to turn the budget on here and set the budget here. I only set the budget at the campaign level if I know I'm going to create more than one ad set. If I'm going to have just one ad set, I set the budget at the ad set level. Now, you could choose for your ad account to always set the campaign budget at the campaign level. And if you have one ad set or you have multiple ad sets, you'll be good to go. So it doesn't really matter how you do this. It's just something that I've done for so many years. I've always set the budget at the ad set level and I kind of do it by habit. But if you wanted to set it here, you would turn the switch on. You would come down here and you would set the budget to, let's say, $2 a day. Okay, if you don't want to set it here, you would turn this switch off or leave it off. Okay, and let me just do two things. One thing I like to do is I like to copy my campaign name because I'm going to use that in the next step. So remember, I have the budget turned off right now because I'm going to set it at the ad set level. You can set it at the campaign level. Don't worry about it. Okay, you just have to choose which level you're going to set it at. Click next. You're going to notice it's going to bring us down to the ad set. Okay, so again, we're going down these three layers, okay? Campaign level, ad set level, ad level. You'll also notice it over here, campaign level, ad set level, ad level. Okay, it's showing you the progress right up here. All right, there's always more than one way to get to things inside the back end of Facebook. I can go over here, I can go over here to get to the ad, but now this is where the targeting takes place. Okay, so first thing you want to do is name your ad set. Now, what I typically do is I use the campaign name. Okay, so January 23rd, traffic, Christmas. And then if I was targeting something specific here, so let's say I was targeting my website lookalike. Okay, so maybe I put web lookalike. Okay, and maybe I want to give myself a heads up. Hey, this ad set is targeting inside this campaign is targeting a lookalike audience from website visitors. Okay, so you want to give your ad set a name that helps you understand the targeting that you're going to do below. All right. Now, next thing we want to do is scroll a little bit. We want traffic going to our website. The other thing that you could do if you didn't have a website, and I'm making this video so that you just understand all the possible options. Or if you wanted to do something special where you wanted to send traffic to Messenger, you can also send traffic to Messenger. And that would mean that people are going to send you messages. So the purpose of the ad, the purpose of the campaign would be to get a whole bunch of people messaging you And the cool thing about that is then you build your messenger subscribers. Once people message you, they're inside the ecosystem of Facebook Messenger, and you're growing that ecosystem much like you grow an email list. Okay, so that is something that I talk about inside Module 5. Okay, so if you want to do that, that's the only other thing I do with traffic campaigns. But for now, we're sending our traffic to the website. We do nothing with dynamic creative. Okay, I've played with this in the past. It really doesn't do anything. Okay, so I don't do that. I've played with doing offers in the past. If you want to do that, you can, but we're not going to set that up now. It's very simple. If you turn it on, it walks you through the process. So we did not set up the budget on the campaign level. If we had set the budget on the campaign level, this budget would not show up here, right? You can never make a mistake and set it on the campaign level and then also set it on the ad set level and they don't match or you have different numbers. You can never make that mistake. It's either on at the campaign level or it's on at the ad set level, and wherever you see the budget show up is where you would set the budget. Okay, so I'm going to set it for $2 a day. If I set the budget at the campaign level and I decided to put 3 or 4 or just 2 ad sets in this campaign, the budget at the campaign level would be split between the number of ad sets I have. So if I had a $2 a day budget at the campaign level, and if I decided to put 2 ad sets in this campaign, each serving an ad to different audiences, one a lookalike audience, the other one an interest targeted audience, then the budget would be split, and each ad set would get $1 budget, and that would be done automatically by the algorithm. Okay, so $2. I don't set end dates for my campaigns. You can if you want. I don't. I just turn them off when I want to turn them off. Okay, very next thing. This is, and you'll notice as we scroll down here, what's happening is you see these little breaks between these blocks. Okay, each time you get to a new block, all right, so here's a block right here. The block is containing information about what this topic is. So this topic is budget and schedule. That's what this block is all about. All right. The block up here is where do you want to send your traffic? Okay. The next block that we're going to deal with is the audience. Okay. There's all kinds of things about the audience. Who are we going to send this to? Where do they live? What do we know about them? What do we want to do? This whole block here is all about audience. Okay, so there's lots of things we can do. We can create a new audience. We can use saved audiences. Now, saved audiences are not custom audiences. They're not lookalike audiences. Saved audiences are audiences that you create and then you choose to save them. So I could create an audience right now that is several lookalike audiences. Let's click on it. Right now, when I click in this box, it opens up a drop down. I'm looking at all of my audiences. Now, all means custom and lookalike. And I can choose to look at lookalike only. I can choose to look at custom only. All right. Now, I can make an audience right now that is my master Facebook page engagement. And let's say 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I just did was I chose a custom audience. I chose 3 lookalike audiences. I can now come down here and choose my age, my gender. I can even add some interest targeting. And after I do all of that, I can choose to save this audience. I don't have to, but let's say I like the way I built it out. I'm going to save it. When I choose to save it, I'm going to give it a name. And when I do that, what happens is it now lives inside of saved audiences. When you click saved audiences, this drop down shows up. And now you have audiences that you've built. Okay, they could be, typically my saved audiences are audiences that were interest targeted audiences that I save. I always save interest targeted audiences. So I'm going to click on this one right here. And the reason I say that, always save interest targeted audiences, is because it takes a while to build out an interest targeted audience. Okay, it took a while to decide who I was going to target to make this audience. And so I don't want to do that more than once. So I always save those. All right, so let's go back to create new audience. And what I want to show you how to do is create. Okay, so everything's blank here right now. I need another sip of tea. And we're going to build this out. Okay, I want to show you how to target. Okay, now I teach in detail about targeting in obviously module 5, but let me show you a good place to go if you really want to get in depth. Right, this is just really going to help you tremendously. May 25, 2020 coaching call, Ninja Targeting with Ads Manager. Now this is an hour-long teaching. I don't want to talk for an hour right now about targeting, okay, because it's not going to be a good use of your time. And so what I'm going to do is point you to that if you want to have an in-depth understanding. Here, I just want to show you the mechanics of how you target. All right, so first of all, you want to choose your location. You can edit this by clicking Edit. If you're going somewhere else other than the United States, you can search locations by clicking in here. I always want people living or recently in this location, or you could choose people only living in this location. People recently in this. Okay, so there's different options here. I always choose the default option, and typically I'm running my ads to the United States. Sometimes I exclude places like if I don't want to ship to the West Coast, I exclude and I start typing in the place that I want to exclude. Okay, but and they end up in my saved audiences. All right, now, so we have the United States. Next thing we do is we choose age. Okay, so you hover over this area, you click Edit, and typically I run my ads to people above 30, and I don't select the top end range. For my business, I run ads only to women. Okay, so I'm going to select that here. And then the next step, this is a huge one right here. It's amazing that Facebook has it so little. But this is detailed targeting. Okay, so before we go to that, I want to just show you languages because it's easy to miss this if you because we're going to spend a lot of time in detailed targeting, and so you could forget to go here. So I'm just going to select English, and to be honest with you, let me just see what this did. It said all languages. I'm going to select all English, okay, and okay, so actually, to be honest with you, you don't have to select language if you're going to the United States because it's just the most common language in the United States. So you don't have to do that. It's totally up to you. Let me deselect that. All right, let's get into detailed targeting. Okay, so detailed targeting, select Edit. And then in here is where we start typing our interests. Okay, so what I like to start with is a general category that matches what it is you create. So for Stephanie, we're talking about handbags. We're talking about amazing custom-made handbags. And so what you want to have in this category is all kinds of handbag interest targeting, all right? So that means brand names. That means I believe handbags comes up as an interest. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with handbags. We're going to start with all kinds of brand name. I mean, here's handbag collecting. How cool is that? We just want a nice big handbag. Let's see what happened with suggestions. Okay, so you've got to keep typing in handbag. You're going to be using brand names that you know about that match what you're doing. So let's just see handbags.com. That might be interesting. I'd have to go check the website. But keep in mind, the audience size is shown when you hover over it. There's only 1,060 people in that. For handbags, it was 486 million. Okay, if you'll see that over on the right-hand side. Now, that's a worldwide number. Okay, and so you'll see your audience size for what you've selected up here is going to keep populating here. So 26 million right now. But the important thing to remember about the first category. Now, the first category means we're adding, let me just add a few more things here so you understand what I mean by category. So I'm going to hit suggestions. And again, we're looking for brand names. We're looking for see if custom handbags comes up. Probably not. Okay, so even though custom handbags didn't pop up here, I think you get the point. What we want to do in this top category is put in as many things that make sense for what it is you create. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to narrow our audience. Okay, and we're narrowing our audience because we want to make sure that we're really getting these people to qualify. Okay, so I want people who are interested in handbags, but what else must they be interested in so that I know they're my kind of people? Okay, and again, that coaching call that I did in May really helps you understand your customer avatar. But one of the things that I would look for in this second category would be people who are kind of addicted to fashion and design, okay, fashion accessories, those types of things. So I would go on to Google, I would search top fashion magazines or even kind of trending things, okay, because you know, Stephanie, for the handbags that you create, you know, it always makes me think trend setting. Okay, so that's what I would do next for, it would be fashion and design, it would be fashion magazines, okay, and I would start, let's see if that's even comes up. Let's just gonna take, oops, that was employers, and always watch for that. Sometimes that comes up, fashion magazine employers. That actually might be kind of cool, so I'm going to leave that in there. There's not a lot of people in that audience, but fashion magazine, maybe we'll pick Vogue. So I'm going to pick magazines that make sense, okay? And I would probably pick this. Now, if let's say you were a painter, you're a photographer, you know what I'm going to do up here in this first category is I'm going to pick the painters or photographers or the type of painting or photography I do. The very next category is going to be interior design. Okay, so I want to make sure people are paying attention to interior design. Okay, so if you can understand what I'm doing here is it's about taking these categories and then saying they must also match this. All right, so for handbags, we want high-end handbags. We want to make sure we're in the right category. Then we want to make sure people are really interested in fashion design, so we know they're going to be spending money on what it is we create. Okay, then the very next thing is I want to narrow further. Okay, so you can put as many things in here as long as they make sense. And what I mean by that is, so I'm not going to put anything that's out of this category in this category. So I would never put, like I wouldn't put any handbag interests, okay, because I did all those up here, okay. So each category has to be a like item in the category, okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, must also match. So the very next thing we could do here is we could do a luxury category. If you sometimes, and I do this for artists that are selling paintings, photography, any kind of art. I like to do art fair category. Okay, so a category that really, where I know people are attending. Attending really high, actually I shouldn't say attending, they're interested in these art events that are selling high-end work from unique artists. Okay, so if you think about that, people who are interested in that are also, they're looking for unique artists. Okay, they're looking for unique handmade things. Okay, so that's a category that I like to throw in here. So Art Basel is one of the art fairs. This one is another one. So that's kind of a cool category to throw in here. Now, for handbags, I don't know that I would use this. Okay, I might actually not put much limiting on this particular traffic campaign, because remember, in all cases, when you build out an interest targeted audience and you're telling the algorithm that you are sending this to traffic to your website, the algorithm is going to watch the people that start clicking on your ad and going to the website, and it's going to look at 1,200 data points on each one of those individuals to help determine who to serve the ad to within this target audience. So keeping your audience kind of broad is actually not a bad idea, okay? But it all depends on how many categories instantly come to mind for you. All right, so with handbags and fashion, what I like to do for a final category, and I'm not sure if we can do this for, well, you would know better than I, Stephanie, for your handbags. But like, for example, some of the jewelers I work with, their jewelry is a bohemian style, okay? And so that's a fun category to target. So you could obviously type in here, you could just start typing, boho. And you're gonna have all kinds of things that come up for boho style, bohemian, gypsy style, hippie. There's all kinds of cool things that come up. And I almost think some of your bags do fit into this category. So I'm gonna leave it here just for, so you understand this whole layering. Okay, I really want you to get this layering concept. Okay, so it's handbags and must also match fashion stuff. Okay, and then must also match, let's say, the style that I'm creating it. Okay, now we're 2,600,000 people. That actually is a beautiful. That's the size audience I like to have. I'd like to have about a 2 million person audience. A little more tea, if you don't mind. Okay, now you could also throw in another category I like to do when I'm targeting for a lot of my students. Click narrow further. Okay, and I like to do just a luxury category. So you can click on luxury goods. There's a whole bunch of luxury interests. Luxury real estate, you can do luxury. And remember, they have to qualify for everything above and then these. So even though you're thinking, okay, wait a minute, I'm not trying to market to somebody who's looking for luxury real estate. Well, you've already qualified them by every interest above here. So these are people interested in handbags and fashion and bohemian style and luxury real estate, okay? So expensive taste, there's a lot of different things that you can do in here. I wouldn't use engaged shoppers in this category or online shopping. That would be a category by itself, and you can certainly do that category as an individual category. What you'll find, though, is these are huge audiences, all right? 500 million. This is 1 billion, 500 million. Okay, so those are huge. So it pretty much doesn't do any narrowing for you. I like using luxury as a qualifying category. Okay, so let me just pick pick one more. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so we're kind of hovering around, and this is cool. So we had 2,600,000 before, and now we got rid of 300,000 people who apparently don't fit into the expensive taste category. So if we're selling high-end things, if we're selling high-end bags, this would be a smart audience right here, okay? So I like this audience. If you ever want to exclude something, you would click exclude here, and then you would type in what you want to exclude. So for example, sometimes for photographers or for painters, I exclude, I think not everything comes up, but fine artist comes up, fine art, photography. Actually, I don't do it as an interest, okay? Interest, or I don't ever exclude interests. I want people interested in fine artists, okay, so I wouldn't exclude them. A fine artist as a job title. If I was a painter, I would be excluding fine artist. I might exclude photographer if I'm a photographer, but I don't think there's anything to exclude for your handbags. All right, now, I never select detailed targeting expansion. Okay, I just don't want that. I want to choose my targeting, and I don't want the AI to expand what I chose. I do want the AI to look at this audience as it serves my ad to this audience and pay attention to who clicks on my ad and further refine who they deliver to, but within this audience. Okay, and the AI does that automatically. All right, so now we get to that point where it saved this audience. Okay, so that's where this is so important, because you spend all this time doing your research, figuring out your customer avatar. You want to give this audience a name. So this is handbags, fashion, boho, and then luxury. And then the other things are listed already. United States, age 30 to 65, female, and then it does list your interest, but I like to have a name so I can go back and understand what I did. Okay, so you click that. That's how you interest target. It's always the same every time. You come down here, you do all the things I just did, and you save that audience. You can use this audience now for any ad you create. It's going to live inside saved audiences, and you're going to be able to choose it by its name, okay? Now, if you ever want to edit it, you edit it here. The very next thing we do when we create an ad is we choose manual placements 90% of the time. Okay, so I'm going to choose manual placements. I always want to serve my ads to Facebook and Instagram. Oops, I clicked it one too many times. Facebook and Instagram, news feeds, and stories. Okay, so news feed and nothing else. Okay, you want your ad to always look like organic content. And the way it's going to look like organic content is having it show up where organic content shows up and not having it show up in all the places that you normally see the ads show up. So that's why we choose news feeds and stories only. Okay, so you deselect everything else. You always want to optimize for a traffic campaign that's going to a website that has a pixel on it. You always want to optimize for landing page views. That means the other option is link clicks. Okay, so link clicks, you can also do unique reach or impressions, but I would never do those. That's just getting in front of more people. And you don't want that. You want the algorithm looking at one of these two things. And if you think about it, here's the deal. Everybody who clicks on your ad, all right, that's link clicks, is going to be sent to your website, all right? When they get to your website, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to stick and go deeper, or they're going to bounce and go away. If they stick and go deeper, they're somebody you want to pay attention to. Okay, if they don't let the site load, or if they get there and like, this is what I was looking for, I thought it was something different, and they leave, you don't really want to pay attention to those. You want to pay attention to people who stay, and that's what this one is. All right, so landing page views. Now, this word here, optimization and delivery, this means you're telling the algorithm what to look for. I want you, algorithm, to serve this ad to more people within this audience I created. All right, this big audience up here. I want you to find all the people in this audience as you start delivering my ad who are doing, who resemble the people who are already clicking on the ad and staying on my website. So the algorithm, the AI, is looking at all these data points on everybody who clicks the ad, lands on the website, starts to dig deeper. Those people are analyzed, and then more people like those people are seeing your ad. That's why you want landing page views, okay? All right, now it's time to click next. Okay, this is where we create the ad. Okay, the ad itself, what is going to be shown in front of these people. And you have several options here. Okay, so this again is, this is traffic, and it's, you know, you give it the rest of the name that you have for this ad. And then you may want to give the ad itself a name. Okay, so this is obviously the whole campaign. You give the ad itself a name. Maybe it was a special video. So maybe it was, maybe it was a fashion show video. All right. Make sure you have the right page. Make sure you select the correct Instagram page, and then come down here to the ad setup. Okay. Now, don't worry about the error message here. The error message is always going to be here until you plug in your website address. Okay, and I don't know why it does that by default, but don't let it throw you off. Now, you're going to choose how to create an ad. All right, you can create an ad from scratch, okay, which is what it's set up to do right now, create ad. You're going to choose single image or video. You could create a carousel ad. You could create a collection. I don't like doing those, or cumbersome, and I like videos, I like images, I like carousel. Okay, and again, I teach in depth on these in Module 5 under the particular lesson that has these names, okay? Now, the other thing you can do is you can use an existing post, all right? And this is a really powerful way to create an ad, especially if you were really smart about a post that you did based on some of the strategies that I teach. So let's say you did a Facebook Live on purpose, designed it to be an amazing Facebook Live that had lots of engagement, lots of people showed up. It's designed to send traffic to your website, really good Facebook Live, and now you want to turn it into a traffic campaign. So this is how you do it. Okay, you do everything we've already done. You come here, you select existing post, and then you click select post. And if it was a recent post, it's going to be right here. All right, just scroll, look for the post, and you will find it. Select it, and then that's it. It's going to be that simple. Now, if you want to create an ad from scratch, you are going to click Create Ad. You're going to click Single Image or Video is what I would recommend. And then you come down to the next box, right? So you've done up here. You come down to this box, Add Media. Okay, so you click here, Add Image or Add Video. Okay, so I'm going to click Add Video. And then videos that you've used and uploaded in the past will be here. If you've not used them yet, or you need to upload them, you just click Upload. When you click Upload, it's going to open to your computer, and you're going to dig around your computer and find the video that you're looking for. As for video length and video size and dimensions, I go over all of that in the course. You can also just simply Google, just search proper video size for Facebook ads or Instagram ads. Instagram ads, our video length is 120 seconds, so 120 seconds. And the square size is the best, or square shape rather, is the best shape for Instagram. So you would just select the video. So I'm going to select this one right here, and you choose next. Then you get these options. So square takes up the most real estate on feeds. Okay, so I like the way that looks. So I'm going to stay with square. You can choose. I mean, you can absolutely take a look and see what it looks like if you go this way. I'm not sure if I set up my cropping for this, but this might be okay. It does take up more space on a vertical, so let's select that one. Usually I set my videos up ahead of time to work on both Facebook and Instagram so that I get the most bang for my buck, so to speak. You want your videos to fill the screen of someone's phone. Okay, that's what we're going for here. So let's see, this is Facebook news feeds, and that's what it's going to look like. So that looks good, I like that. All right, so the very next thing you do, so you selected your video, okay? You can also edit that video. Let me see if I can show you how to do that. So you click in here and click edit. Okay, sometimes what you want to change here is the thumbnail. Okay, there's very few things that I ever want to change, but sometimes I do want to change the thumbnail. So you click on thumbnail, and it's selected automatic right now. If you click on manual, you're going to be able to select from inside the video which thumbnail you want to use. I like to use curiosity thumbnails. Okay, so I like to use a thumbnail that makes a person say, what the heck is this video going to be all about? Because they can't tell from the image. So if you pick an image that tells them everything, like this one here, that may not be as good as, what the heck is this? I have no idea what I'm looking at, okay? So it all depends. You've got to make a decision on that. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to stay with my curiosity factor, okay? Dragonfly, everybody loves dragonflies, right? And like, what the heck is this, all right? Okay, so that's how you edit that, all right? Then we have two placements I'm using this video. If I wanted to edit that thumbnail, I could do that. This is telling me add is undeliverable to stories because I'm not the right size. So again, you can edit these and make them the right size. Okay, you can select the placement to edit. Now, all of that is self-explanatory. Primary text, headline, description. Okay, most of your campaigns are going to have all three. Not all campaigns will have all three. When you use an existing post, you don't get an option to put any text because the text is already in the post. Just remember that. When you create an ad from scratch, you're going to put in your text. So primary text is going to live above your video. So let me show you that. I'm just going to put something in here. This is not what I would use, and I'll show you in a minute what I would use. All right, so I just want you to see how it shows up. The headline is about buy my stuff. And I just want you, again, I want you to see where these show up. And then description doesn't show up on all, it doesn't show up on every placement. So on a phone, it doesn't show up. On a desktop, it does. Description is usually where I put handcrafted, in my Vermont shop, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I put kind of bio info in the description. And sometimes, depending on how long your headline is, will determine whether or not part of the description shows up. So if I selected this one, I'm trying to get that to select. Okay. Now you can put options here, and when you add options, what happens is the algorithm plays around with the delivery of your different options, and it optimizes the ad for the ones that people are engaging with the most. So you can put different things, put additional options, okay, by clicking this button, and I think you can do up to 5. Okay, so let me just grab something with a little bit more. Okay, I should be able to deselect these two. I should be able to click an X up here, but I'm not sure if that's going to show up yet. Okay, so anyway, this just gives you a better understanding of if you use more text up top, that's what it looks like. Now, what I like to use for my ad copy is I like to use customer reviews. Okay, so that's not what I'm using here, but that's what I like to use for my ad copy. And then I usually like to take a sentence, a short sentence from a customer review. These are amazing. I love my hanging water garden, and I like to use that for my headline. Okay. And then maybe I'd put the person's name. Okay, so headline like that, customer testimonial up top. And then the very next thing we do is have website selected, okay, and then your website address. And this is when that error message will go away. Apparently I spelled handcrafted wrong. And let's just double check here. Okay, now you also get to select your call to action button. Sometimes learn more is going to be appropriate. If you're talking to them about just something that you're creating, you want them to learn more. Sometimes shop now seems a little cheap, and so I don't always use shop now. Sometimes I do use shop now. Typically, learn more or shop now are going to be the two you're going to work with. Okay, so we've filled out all these fields, and remember, description, you can make this longer. I absolutely would make it longer. And I would put options in here, because usually when you're thinking about ad copy, you have a couple of different ideas. And then the very next thing you do, everything else is done. You want to just scroll to the bottom, make sure your pixel is lit up green. That means the pixel's on your website properly. This little pixel area down here that talks about offline events, it doesn't matter. It's here by default. Don't ever worry about it. The very next thing you do is you click publish. Okay, boom, click publish, and you are done. You just created a traffic campaign. And now I'll show you some other campaigns. Now let's make a few other types of campaigns. Okay, so I'm going to X out of this one. I have to remember to delete these campaigns. Let's see, so I just want to close this. And let's go back to the campaign level, this tab right here. Let's take this one as a test, and let's delete that. Okay, so I'm going to delete that campaign. That's how you would delete a campaign, by the way. You just check its box, go up here to the trash barrel. Okay, so now let's create a page likes campaign. Okay, so to grow your fan base, the way you do that is an engagement campaign. You choose engagement. You come down to what type of engagement are you looking for. You choose page likes. Now, if this happened to be a campaign that you were running for your monthly giveaway, you would choose engagement, and then you would choose post engagement, okay? But for a page likes campaign, you choose page likes. Makes sense, right? Click continue. Next thing you do is you title your campaign with the date and the word page likes. And then you scroll. We're not going to set the budget here. We're going to do it at the ad set. We don't do anything with any of these other things, so we click next. At the ad set level, we just moved down to the ad set level. We moved over to the ad set level. We could give it the correct name. Maybe we're going to do some kind of special targeting here. Make sure you have the correct page. And set your budget. So page likes campaigns, I like to run them for $2 a day or $1 a day. Depends on what you want to do. I do not set an end date, and then it's time to choose an audience. Now, we have done interest targeting. We did that in the last campaign. We can go and find that saved audience, okay, by coming here to saved audiences, and we can search for it. I don't remember what I called it, but it probably was test something. There it is, handbag, fashion, boho. So there it is right there. So we could use that audience. That was a nice big audience, 2,300,000 people. Right, that's one way we could target fresh. Okay, we create a new audience and target fresh the way I just showed you. We can also click in here, and in here we have all of our lookalike audiences and custom audiences. Okay, this is where they live. And you can click on lookalike audiences. Any of the lookalike audiences you've made, you can select those. You can always select more than one. A lot of times I like to run a page likes campaign to several lookalike audiences. So let's do that. I'm going to just select several of these. And apparently one of these, it must be my test one, is too small. There we go. Okay. And so anyway, you can fill that up with as many as you want. And then we're not going to do any interest targeting on top of that. I would just keep it lookalike audience only. Typically when I am running to lookalike audiences, I don't save the audience. I could save it and say, okay, this is 7 of my 1% lookalike audiences. But I don't. Okay, usually I don't do that. So when you're using lookalike audiences, you don't have to mess with gender, detail targeting, anything, unless you just want absolute confirmation. So a lookalike audience, it's going to be using the source audiences to create these, so it's going to have the right people in the audiences. But sometimes I do like to make sure I'm only going to women, and I sometimes set my age range. Least likely to do this, very likely to do this, okay? And then, again, I don't save that audience. Now, for a page likes campaign, you could actually do automatic placements, but I like to do manual placements so that I can see where Facebook is trying to send my ad. Page likes campaigns are only going to be delivered on Facebook because that's where page likes can happen. I don't like to serve things in Marketplace, so I'm not going to do that because it just looks more like an ad. I like my ads to look organic. And there you go. So that was the only one to delete. So the very next thing you do is click next. And on the next page is where we're at the ad level. This is where we're going to create the ad. Okay, and you want to make sure you're on the right Facebook page. And then you're going to label your ad name. And then you're going to create an ad. Now, what happens when you get here is it's already pulled information from your page. And actually, I didn't make sure. I guess I did. I've got the right page. And so what you want to do is clear. So you click clear all images and then select add media. Okay, and so what you're selecting here is an image or a video. I probably would have done a video, but let me just grab an image. Grab this one. And it's actually the wrong shape, but that's fine. And then I would, change the text. It's actually grabbing text from my other Facebook page. So I would give it some appropriate primary text, and then you can add options if you want to test different text. Okay, so you can add a couple of these. You can do up to 5. Make sure your pixel is here. I just always make sure the pixel's on, even though this is not a campaign that's designed to drive traffic to the website. Okay, so there's a page likes campaign, and then you just click publish. Okay, so that's how you set up a page likes campaign. I recommend having one of those on all the time if your budget can handle that. Okay, so let me get to the campaign level. And let me delete that one. Okay, the next type of campaign that I like to run, and I run a lot of these, and you'll see it right here, I have conversion campaigns. Okay, so conversion campaign, you click create, and the conversion objective is right here. And there's several types of conversions that you can do. A conversion is something that's taking place on your website. So it could be view content, it could be add to cart, it could be purchase. It's the conversion is based on is working in conjunction with the pixel on your website. So actually, let's jump over here for a minute. Let's jump into business tools. Let's go to Events Manager. I just want to show you where the pixel lives and the pixel data lives. Okay, so we go into Events Manager and make sure you're looking at the right pixel. And it's going to show you data for your pixel. Okay, and so you're going to see which pixels you properly have set up on your website. So I have these. I have page view, view content, view category, add to cart, purchase, initiate checkout. Okay, so page view means they landed on your website. It's always going to be the biggest number, all right, the greatest number of people they land on the website, because not everybody stays. View content or view category, these are pretty much the same thing. They're going deeper into your website. Add to cart is always going to be fewer than all of these, because not everybody's going to add something to the cart. And then purchase is always going to be less than add to cart, because not everybody checks out, okay? Initiate checkout is going to be almost identical to purchase, all right? And you can see mine pretty much are. And so these are all the events that you can set up a conversion ad for, as long as you have enough activity. If you don't have a lot of purchases, set up a conversion campaign for add to cart. If you don't have a lot of add to carts, set up a conversion campaign for view category, view content. If you don't have a lot of that happening yet, and a lot means at least 50 a week, okay? If you don't have a lot of that yet, then set up a conversion campaign for page view, okay, until you have more activity. Once you have at least 50 a week, a category will work. And you basically want to work your way down to the objective, which is purchase. Being able to run purchase conversion campaigns is very, very powerful, okay? So let's go back to Ads Manager. And let's get back into that new campaign that we were working on. And I'll show you how to set up a conversion campaign. So this one's in draft. The way to get back into them is to hover underneath, click on the little edit pencil right in the middle there. That's going to bring you back inside the campaign. I'm at the campaign level. I want to be at the ad set level. So I'm going to click on the ad set. And this is where we're going to choose the conversion event. So we're sending traffic to the website. And remember to put your ad set name up here. And what is the conversion event? Now, the interesting thing about here, this is where you choose the conversion event. I have it on purchase. This should really look like a drop-down arrow, because that's what it functions as. When I click this X, I am now given a drop-down, and I can choose any of the events that I have set up on my page. So I have add to cart, and actually I'm not sure why I have two add to carts. Let's see. So when I hover over it, I'm just looking to see what it says here. Looks like they're both on the same page. So anyway, I could use that one. I could use initiate checkout. I could use purchase. And these are inactive events. Okay, Facebook is kind of playing around with the pixel the last couple of weeks. So they're doing some things on the back end. But anyway, what I want to choose, and again, if you don't have enough purchase information, choose something higher in the funnel. View content, add to cart, and then you could also do page view. Now, page view is very similar to a traffic campaign optimized for landing page views. Okay, so I typically don't run a conversion campaign for page view, because I would just run a traffic campaign. Okay, so it's always something deeper in the funnel. So view content, add to cart, or purchase. Those are the 3 conversion campaigns that I run. So I'm going to set up a purchase. Click purchase. Okay. Next thing you do is we don't do anything here or here. We set our budget. Okay, so let's say I'm going to set the budget for $2 a day. And I'm not going to set an end date. And then I'm going to choose how I want to target. Okay, so again, if you're going to interest target, you would start with your country. You would start with your age. If you're going to build out some interest targeting audiences. And what happens is once you start building these out, over time, you never really have to build them again. You start getting good at, okay, I've got people who are interested in this, this, and this. Maybe certain magazines are one of the qualifiers in one audience. Maybe another audience is more broad, where they're just fans of this and this. And maybe another audience is really tight, where they're absolutely fans of this, and they must also match this, and they must also match this, and then it must, so maybe some are really, really tight, okay? And then, so you can build that out here, or you can use one of your, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of your lookalike audiences. I usually don't use a custom audience by themselves because they're kind of small. All right, so custom audiences are small. You can use them for retargeting purposes. So if you want to send an ad to everybody who's ever engaged with your Facebook page, and maybe you're going to send an ad that says, you wouldn't do a conversion campaign, but let's say you were doing a brand awareness campaign. You could send an ad to everyone who's ever engaged with your Facebook page, brand awareness campaign that says, hey, I'm doing a Facebook Live on such and such a day, all about a new release that I have. You could do a campaign like that. So that's when I use custom audiences. It's usually for something very specific like that. So that would be a brand awareness campaign to a custom audience for a very specific reason about who that audience is. Okay, so maybe it was an email list, and I'm going to do a brand awareness campaign, or maybe I'm doing a traffic campaign. I could do a conversion campaign to an email list, and let them know that I just came out with a new line or a new whatever, and send it. And you can, when it's a customer list, you can say, hey, I know, you're one of my VIPs, and I want to let you know I have a new section on my website all about new releases for just my VIP customers. Okay, so that's where custom audiences would come into play. Most of the time I'm running cold campaigns to new people, trying to bring new people into my world. So those are lookalike audiences, big 2 million person lookalike audiences. And that's where, that's what I like to run a lot of my campaigns to. So we would just, we would select a couple of lookalike audiences based on some really smart reasoning. Okay, I'm not just randomly selecting these. Then I would make sure I'm going to all women. I'm probably not going to mess with the age. I'll just let the algorithm do that. Detailed targeting expansion, I always have that off. So I'm not going to have that. And then I'm not going to save the audience. I'm going to choose manual placements. When I choose manual placements, I always make sure it's Facebook and Instagram feeds and stories only. So I'm going to deselect everything else. Okay, now we're optimizing for conversions, okay? Just want you to know what the other option is here. Value, landing page views, other options. You always choose conversions. When you're running a conversion campaign, you optimize for conversions. Then you click next. And make sure you select your Instagram page. Oops, make sure you have the correct Facebook page. and then the correct Instagram page, okay? And then you're going to choose how to create your ad. You may want to use an existing post. You may want to use an image or a video. You may want to set up a carousel ad, which those are really easy to set up. You're just adding images for each one of the placements, okay? So you can do 5, 6, 7 placements, and then you do a headline, a description, your website. Okay, I like to do video ads. Those are my favorite. They get the biggest reach, they get the biggest interaction, and they perform the best. Okay, so that's what I like to run with our video ads. And again, you do all of this, you fill this out the same way we did before. Make sure you have your website address, add the call to action button, shop now in most cases, or learn more, and then you click publish. And that is it. Let me jump out of this campaign, and I'm not sure if I need to show you anything else because I think I've covered most of these. Let's get back to the campaign level. Let's get this out of here. I have to refresh to see where this draft went. There it is. Okay, so it's selected here, and I'm going to delete that one. So click delete, and delete, and that gets rid of that campaign. Now, I've told you that I never set an end date for my campaigns, and the reason for that is when I want them to stop, I come up here and I just turn the switch off. Just click the switch, turn it off, and it's not going to run anymore. Okay, so that's the easy way to end your campaigns. Now, let me just go into campaign create one more time. Brand awareness and reach campaigns, I talk about them extensively in Module 5 of the course, okay, under those two names. And these are basically what they say. Brand awareness and reach, they're not really driving traffic to the website, but they're the cheapest campaigns that you can run as far as getting in front of a lot of people for the least amount of money. So they're fun to run when you have budget to be able to do such a thing. Engagement campaigns, I use that for page likes, and I use that for engagement with a post, such as a giveaway post for your monthly giveaway. I don't typically use any of these other campaigns, but I talk more about why I don't inside Module 5. And then conversion campaigns, okay, and you can set those up for all the different conversion events. All right, that is the lowdown on how to quickly understand setting up campaigns, creating custom audiences, creating lookalike audiences, understanding that where your pixel activity is to see what kind of pixel activity is happening on your website so that you can intelligently choose the correct conversion event for a conversion campaign. And that will fast track your ability to set up campaigns, to create custom audiences and lookalike audiences, upload your email list, and that will get you up and running and sending traffic to your website and making sales. And all of the other detailed information about creating Facebook ads is in Module 5 of the course. Okay, and Module 5 is the biggest module. It's pretty dense, but I go into detail on all of these campaigns and why I use them and how I use them. Okay, so you'll find all that right here. Excellent. Thank you so much.